Hey guys, my name is Jasmine. If you didn't know, now you know. And today I wanted to talk about grief. I feel like my group of people, like who I grew up with, who I've just known, has dealt with grief way too many times for being so young. Like, I know adults who didn't lose their first person until like their 40s or something, and my area has lost so many young people, it is just not funny. It literally feels like a curse. And this week, it happened again, and so I thought I would touch on the subject of grief. I have been there, I have done it. So I'm not gonna tell you it gets better. I am not gonna tell you everything happens for a reason. I do believe that now. But I know all it does is piss people off. Like, when people would tell me that, especially the first few months, I just literally would look at them like, why are you even talking to me? Like, clearly you don't understand what the heck I'm going through, because now I just want to punch you in the face for saying things like that. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you what everyone else is going to tell you. First things first though, I do want you guys to know I am here for anybody and everybody. If you need someone to talk to, if you need someone just to sit there and cry with, if you just need someone for anything about grief, I got you. I understand how lonely it can get because you feel like no one else understands. But there are people out there who do understand, and I am one of them, and I would love to help anybody. Especially in that field, because y'all, it's going to be a hard ride, and the feelings you feel are going to be rough. Another thing I need to tell you guys is everyone grieves differently. Everyone has a time period that they're going to grieve differently. I know people who were just grieving for a few months or a year. Me personally, I was grieving for about 7.5 years, and I probably would have consistently still be grieving to this day if it wasn't for my mom finally intervening, because you saw how my life was going. The real reason why I am making this video is not to tell you things everyone else is going to tell you, not to tell you what to do, how to do it, but there's just one piece of advice I have to give you, and it's super crucial to your healing, and it might not make a humongous difference in the present, but it will in the future, and there's many reasons for that. My one piece of advice for you is to feel every ounce of your feelings. It is super, super, super important. I was grieving for about a year and a half or so, maybe 2, and I was just so tired of feeling it. Like, I just couldn't do it. So I started doing things that weren't necessarily me. I started doing things I thought I would never do. I started being who I thought I would never be. And it was all because I was trying to hide and mask these emotions. A lot of time when you try to hide and mask it, you do it in a way that's unhealthy. Between sex, drugs, alcohol, work, like you just do things in an unhealthy way because you're trying to mask those feelings. So don't mask the feelings. I understand that grief is probably the hardest feeling to probably ever go through. And it's hard not to mask it because you don't want to feel that pain all day, every day. You don't want to feel that in your heart. You don't want to feel it anywhere because it just like takes over. I get that. But you have to feel those feelings. When you're mad, be mad and understand why you're mad and let it out. Like, I punched my steering wheel because I lived in my car, pretty much. I punched my steering wheel so much. I thought I broke my hand at one point. I even thought I broke my steering wheel at one point. But I had to let out that anger because it was just building up inside of me. It was building up to where I was becoming angry at everybody, and that's when it sucks. When you feel grief changing you, it's just like defeating. And I don't want it to change who you guys are, because all of you guys are so beautiful in your way. I don't want you to become something you're not. And so yeah, I started masking my feelings with drugs, and then the drugs got old, and so I started masking it with drinking, and I just became someone I wasn't. I remember someone telling one of my friends that I was a party girl, and I got so upset because in my core I am not that person. Like, no one else understood why I was doing it besides me, so I put on that persona of being a party girl, but I wasn't. Like, that wasn't who I am. That's not who I want to be. And it was all because I was just sad. I would rather drink my feelings than feel my feelings, and it just doesn't get you anywhere when you do that. It just, everything stays inside and bottles up, and it comes out when you don't want it to come out. It comes out in the least expected moments, and I just need you guys to feel those feelings you are feeling, no matter how hard they are to feel. I don't want you guys to change because something so traumatic happened. And I'm here to talk about it. If you guys want to text me questions, I'm here for you. I was grieving for 7.5 years, and it was some of the worst times in my life, and I still get emotional about it to this day. And that's the funny thing about grief, is when you do start, after a few years, you do start understanding that they are in a better place, but then you start grieving over things that can't happen. Like, when I got my first apartment, I was so proud of myself, but the first day I got it, I cried for like an hour because all I could imagine was my best friend was supposed to be here experiencing things with me. Like, it's like your grief switches from them to things you lost. And grief is just a roller coaster, I'm not gonna lie. It's a hard roller coaster, and the only advice I have for you that you will probably even minutely take in is just gonna be feel your feelings. You might lose people all along the way because they don't understand, but again, it kind of happens for a reason. You don't want people in your life who just aren't gonna be there. I have found my truest friends when I was grieving. Honestly, 4 out of like 6 of my friends, because I only have like 6 girlfriends, you know, knew me when I was grieving and when I was going through the hardest time of my life, and they've seen me cry and be in a ball and just be in the fetal position and just like screaming, crying because I didn't understand. Like, I don't get it, and I know you guys will feel like that, but just understand, like, feel those feelings and know that it isn't your fault. And yes, your life is going to change, and yes, it is going to suck, but you have things to live for, and I just need y'all to know that. Like, that is the one advice I have for you. It is really important for you guys to know that. Just understand that I'm here for you to talk to. I'm gonna let you go because I'm emotional. Alright. I'm sorry for all y'all's losses, and I'm here to help. Bye.